What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPapa, and we're starting the video off with a question. Who wants to look at the actual rate of return for all of the regular Elite Trainer boxes, booster boxes, and where applicable, Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs over the last 8 freaking years? Hand raised. I hope you do too, because that's what we're going to be looking at today. Now, a couple months ago, I did a video just like this, but one of the things that I love about this channel is you guys provide such amazing input and you guys provide such amazing suggestions that now that we have about 3 months more worth of data, I want to re-look at this, and I also want to layer in a lot of suggestions that you guys had. So in the original video, we looked at all of these products again over the last 8 years. We're about to go all the way back to mid-XY era. But we looked at them and I compared them all with MSRP pricing in there. And you guys raised your hand a bunch of times and you said, hey, listen, MSRP is great. We know you want to be consistent, but we never buy ETBs and we never buy booster boxes at MSRP. So you think you should probably lower that. So you know what I did in this one? I lowered the purchase price of all of these by 20% off MSRP. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. Another thing that I did too, and this is a really great, really smart, really chess playing call out. You guys said, hey, listen, Elite Trainer boxes, the rate of return is great, but their size, they're too big. We need to buy booster boxes because booster boxes are smaller. I can hold more booster boxes versus Elite Trainer boxes. So then of course my brain goes into overdrive and I'm like, hey, that makes sense. But does the rate of return of Elite Trainer boxes, since the rate of return has been higher in the past, is that going to allow Elite Trainer boxes, even though they're bigger over time, to be a better investment? So in true PikaPikaPapa fashion, we're going to look at all of these, not only their rate of return, not only with a reduced purchase price, but we're also going to look at their rate of return per cubic inch. I know it's crazy. That's how my mind works. But I'm hoping to put to bed this theory or this questions. What is the best sealed investment in the long run? And I'm loving this comparison of Elite Trainer box versus booster boxes from a size perspective. So as always, let's get into the data. This is what it looks like. Now this, I don't need you to focus on this, but I want to show you where all of these numbers come from that we're going to analyze here in just a minute. So you're going to see that I have the market price for all of these. I just updated them the other day. You're going to see that I have a column for MSRP, but above that MSRP, it says 20% off. So we're using a purchase price for Elite Trainer boxes of $32. Now in the next column, we look at Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. I left it at MSRP, right? Because this is the product that I am such a big believer in. I absolutely love this because you're not going to find it at less than MSRP, which is what I love about it. You're not going to find this on a discount rack at Walmart. You're not going to find it, in a buy one, get one bin at GameStop. It is only available at the Pokemon Center. It's only available at MSRP, so we have left that the same. Then we're going to look at booster boxes, and booster boxes, again, I took a haircut of 20% off of MSRP for all of these, going down to a purchase price of $115. Now, you're going to see the rate of return number as well. Rate of return allows us to look at different products of different age and normalize them for a same comparison. Now, rate of return isn't if something goes from $50 to $100, that's not a 100% rate of return because you have to factor in the time. If that takes 1 year to get there, 2 years to get there, 3 years to get there, the time factors in and that gives us a rate of return. It's annualized and it also compounds. So really exciting to talk about that. Again, I think this is the best way to look at this moving forward. And I also want to say that if this kind of stuff excites you, we do cool stuff like this on the channel all the freaking time, and this community is amazing. We'd love to have you be a part of it. If you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. If you like the content, give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, drop them down below. This video is a direct reflection of input and comments from the community, and I think that this is just an awesome view, and I am super pumped to get after it and show it to you right now. Okay. So here is the Sword and Shield era. Now, changing everything, changing the purchase price down 20% has completely flipped the script. So you have the current Elite Trainer box prices, current Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box price, and the current booster box price. Then in the green, you see the rate of return. Now, again, nothing has changed. Even though we changed the purchase price, the rate of return for Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes is still at 44%. Now, I thought that maybe that number would change because we had 3 months more worth of data, right? All these products are 3 months older. So I thought, hey, maybe they shot up in the very beginning and the rate of return is going to normalize a bit. It didn't. It stayed in the mid 40s, even though this is 3 months further down the line, which again, I think bodes well for the long-term prospects of Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. I do want to say we have to take that with a grain of salt because this is a new product, right? Like I know that we had some in the past, but now they're starting to normalize it. They're starting to do it with every single set. So we're going to have to take some time for this to bake out, but it is really exciting to see those returns coming out early. Now, what we do see is the gap between Elite Trainer Box and Booster Box rate of return normalized a bit, right? Elite Trainer Boxes from the Sword and Shield era, their rate of return is at 27% on average, and the Booster Box is at 26% on average. Now, what I am going to say about those Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs, some of these earlier sets you can still get on Pokemon Center, right? So I think that they produced more of these. These newer ones, guess what? Today, I went online. Obsidian Flames is already sold out. The Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center exclusive ETB is already sold out. Obviously, they will restock it at some point, but it's sold out. Paldea Evolved, I'm filming this today on Friday when Paldea Evolved, quote unquote, officially comes out. Guess what? Sold out on the Pokemon Center. Crown Zenith, sold out on Pokemon Center. Scarlet and Violet, I think the Scarlet one is still available, but the Violet one is sold out. I'm going in this long monologue about that because I have talked at length about how I feel like there's going to be hobby and retail products in the future. I think these Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs are Pokemon's first voyeur into a true like hobby level product, okay? So I do think there's gonna be some exclusivity. I do think there's gonna be some rarity. I love those stamped promos. I don't care about the extra packs, but I do think that as long as supply is limited, these could be a really, really good investment in the long run. So now, listen, what are we gonna do with Sword and Shield era with all this data? So for me, we have to do some theorizing, right? Because we don't know what the future is going to hold. We know what their current rate of return is. So what I decided to do was say, does size matter? And that's what this slide is all about. So we're investing $100 hypothetical dollars in Sword and Shield era Elite Trainer boxes, booster boxes, and Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. And now we're going to take the current rate of return and we're just going to go out 3 years and 5 years and see where the results are. Now, what's going to be really exciting in these next couple slides is we're going to look at Sun and Moon and we're going to look at XY, and we don't have to theorize. We're going to see actually how they perform. So remember, this is all just, hey, current rate of return over 3 years or over 5 years for Sword and Shield. Now, what is really exciting to me is look at over the 3-year price period. So Elite Trainer boxes at a 27% rate of return would gain you $104, just shy of $105. Booster boxes would gain you $100, a little bit less, right? Because the rate of return is 1% less. Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs would be almost $200 in return. Now, again, this is assuming that they're going to remain at a 44% rate of return over the next 3 years. I call this out at the very bottom. I don't think that's possible. I just think it's too high. There's no way. If I truly believed you could get a 44% rate of return on Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes, I'd take a second mortgage out on my house and I'd buy all of them. That doesn't mean that I don't think that they can hold this rate of return. When we look at these older sets, like, yes, a lot of these older sets went through the pandemic pump, but guess what? A lot of these sets in this Sword and Shield era, all of these Pokemon exclusive ETBs, like most of these were launched post-pandemic, and the fact that they still have these strong returns just tells me that the market is still strong and there's still tons of demand. So yes, things have normalized since the pandemic, but we're also seeing incredible rates of returns even to this day, so forget about the pandemic pump. So when we break it down into gain per cubic inch, that's where we really start to get this story. And what's interesting to me is, yes, Elite Trainer boxes, they're 170.63 cubic inches. You only gained 61 cents per cubic inch over those 3-year periods. Booster boxes coming in at $1.34 because they are about half the size, a little less than half the size from a cubic inch perspective, coming in at less than 75 cubic inches. And then you got Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. What was exciting to me to call out, and I think this is amazing how the math works and how size factors in, is after 3 years, even though the amount of money that you gained in Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs is almost double, right? $100 in booster boxes, almost $200 in Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. Because they are so much larger, the gain per cubic inch is significantly less. Booster boxes at $1.34, Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs at $1.16. So in this instance, guess what? Size does matter. Now, remember what I said earlier about rate of return compounding over time. So I thought, hey, let's blow this out another 2 years. Like 3 years, it's kind of close. Booster boxes are obviously the clear winner, but let's blow this out 5 years. Now, look at how everything switches down below when you blow it out 5 years. So Elite Trainer box and booster boxes, they're still really similar, right? Between $215, $230 in return. But again, when you look at the gain per cubic inch, okay, Elite Trainer boxes gain you $1.35 per cubic inch. Booster boxes jump up to $2.91 per cubic inch because they're just so small, which is absolutely incredible. This was eye-opening for me. I hope it's eye-opening for you. And then you look at the Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. They actually take the win after 5 years, but that is all on if it maintains this 44% rate of return. Now, for an example, that would be saying, hey, Brilliant Stars Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes are going to be worth $600 in 5 years. I don't think that's going to happen, okay? I don't. Now, Like I said earlier in the previous slide, could some of these more exclusive hobby, quote unquote, level Obsidian Flames and Scarlet and Violet era type booster boxes, Elite Trainer boxes from the Pokemon Center, Crown Zenith, if they don't print anymore, it is possible that you could see this type of return over 5 years for those products, but it is all going to it's all going to hinge on the actual supply. The demand is going to be there. Is the supply going to be there? Again, for these late series Sword and Shield era sets, Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, any of the other ones that are available on there, I think that the supply is going to be too high. But when we go from Crown Zenith forward, if they continue to just be sold out on Pokemon Center, could be really exciting. This could be the product of the future. So we shall see. But I thought this was really cool to blow it out and look at it from a cubic inch perspective. And now let's get into Sun and Moon like I told you we would do. All right, again, dropping the 20% purchase price absolutely flips the script here. So Cosmic Eclipse is about 3 3/4 years old. Sun and Moon is about 6 1/4 years old. So we're going to look at actual rate of return. We're going to look at actual price growth. We're not going to theorize anything. We are going to see how all of these worked out. Now remember, there's no Pokemon exclusive ETBs in this era, so we just have regular ETBs and booster boxes. Even with the change in purchase price, Elite Trainer boxes still have a higher rate of return at 48% and booster boxes at 34%. When you look here at the bottom, Burning Shadows, Guardian Rising, Sun and Moon, you see that the return on Elite Trainer box and booster boxes is really, really tight, okay? So that's something interesting to call out as we're looking at the first 3 sets here in the Scarlet and Violet era. But then you'll see the gap starts to get really big. The only time it tightens up is Team Up, and that's because the booster box and Team Up has just gone absolutely batty, sitting at over $1,300 today. Just crazy. But besides that, you're going to see that all of the other ones, I mean, the Elite Trainer box wins hands down. Now, 10 of the 12, you see Elite Trainer boxes winning. But again, does size matter? What does this look like from a per cubic inch perspective? This is where booster boxes, they just stand on top of Elite Trainer boxes. They're looking down. They're giving a big flex. Like, booster boxes just absolutely win the day when you're looking at Sun and Moon era Elite Trainer boxes and booster boxes in regards to rate of return versus size. Again, you all are freaking brilliant out there. You guys called it out. You guys said it. So this probably doesn't come as a surprise to you. But for me, I always do what's called trust but verify. I believe it. It makes all the sense in the world in my mind, but I want to see it in black and white. And not only that, but seeing the difference in dollars here adds some importance, adds some just some impact to me because the gap is so great. I mean, Cosmic Eclipse, which we all think is just an absolute awesome set, dollars per cubic inch for Elite Trainer boxes, it is at $1.92, but then for booster box, it's at $7.50. Even looking at the base set, right? Looking at the Sun and Moon, we go from one extreme to the other. The cubic inch return is 18 cents for Elite Trainer boxes, and booster boxes is all the way up to $1.58. I mean, top to bottom, left to right, it's not even close, right? Booster boxes win, hands down. Again, the past doesn't always give you an exact glimpse into what the future will be, but it certainly does rhyme a lot, so I thought this was really cool to look at. Now, obviously, yes, size does matter, okay? But my question after coming to this slide and after saying size does matter, what if we looked at XY? Like, I committed to going back 8 full years, and this was truly a labor of love. So let's look at the XY era. Now, I only went through the first half of XY because the back half of XY, everything that just gets super crazy. Again, no more theoretical. This is actual. Yes, there was a little bit of a pandemic pump, but remember, these sets are battle hardened because a lot of these sets, they didn't see a lot of love pre-pandemic, right? Like, this is a great example of some of these. I hear stories about XY evolutions where people just couldn't get rid of them, right? Your local card shops, they had all of this XY evolutions. They didn't know what to do with it. Nobody has that problem nowadays. So these sets have seen the best of times. They've seen the worst of times. They've been battle hardened pre-pandemic, during pandemic, post-pandemic. So I love looking at these. Now you'll see the Elite Trainer box rate of returns. I was actually interested to see some of these. I feel like these might be some sleeper opportunities. XY evolutions at $210. I think that that's a great buy. Then you look at these booster box prices as well. Again, I know there was a lot of XY evolutions booster boxes out there, but I do feel like the market is going to pivot at some point. So the rate of return on XY evolutions, whether you're buying a booster box or an ETB, is absolutely the same. And then to the right, you see the cubic inch gain. Obviously, when the rate of return is the same, but the booster box is much smaller, you see a pronounced win for evolutions in the dollars per cubic inch category. And again, top to bottom, dollars per cubic inch, booster box wins out. I think this is just Awesome data. I think this is incredible to look at. This was another exercise where I went and I saw these booster boxes and Elite Trainer boxes from the XY era, and I was like, man, now might be the time to get in on some of these. I'm gonna tell you a true story. I bought a Steam Siege XY booster box 6 months ago because I could get it for $200, and I was like, I don't care if this is the worst set that's ever produced. It's from the XY era. It's a sealed booster box. It's $200. Like, I cannot go wrong. I always talk about my downside being protected. I felt that there was absolutely zero downside in that, and guess what? Over 6 months now, it's going for almost $300. So some opportunities here, even if they're not the best sets. I think these sealed products are going to continue to do well in the long run. Now, listen, this is the cool stuff that we always talk about on this channel. So then at the end, we always like to summarize everything, right? Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs are greater than ETBs, which are greater than booster boxes from a rate of return view. Okay, so just from a overall percentage rate of return. But then when we do the very important call out that you guys had and we look at a size perspective, guess what? Booster boxes are the winner when you look at it as a dollar return per cubic inch. Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs come in at number 2, and regular ETBs are at the very bottom. It is amazing. Listen, we looked at 31 sets over 8 years. It has been absolutely an incredible exercise. I still am a big believer in these Pokemon exclusive ETBs. I think that we're at the very beginning of what might be a very exciting time for this hobby. I think Pokemon Company is realizing that there's a bunch of different buckets here. There's collectors, there's investors, there's players. And what any smart company will do is they will try and design products to appease to all three of those, because you never want to alienate anybody who's interested in your product. You never want to alienate a collecting base. You never want to alienate anybody who's got money and they're willing to spend it on your product. So I do think that the executives in there are probably trying to figure out, hey, how do we appeal to the people who play the game? How do we appeal to the people who just love to collect? And then how do we appeal to the crazy collectors and investors like PikaPikaPaPa out there? And I think that they're doing a great job of doing it. So anyways, really cool summary slide right here. Really cool information. I think it was awesome to look at all of this, not only from a dollars per cubic inch perspective, but also from a rate of return perspective. So hey, listen guys, if you have made it to the end of this video and you haven't hit the subscribe button, what the heck are you doing? We do all kinds of fun stuff like this on the channel. I absolutely love bringing you this kind of data, and I love interacting with this community. So if you haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button if you like what you saw. If you have questions or comments, drop them down below. And as I always said, if you made it to the end and you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you as a member of this community. You guys have an epic one, and I will talk to you on Wednesday. See you, everybody.